seriously, my Yankee hating behind has to be nice. As I bring in Bucky Dent, he's looking at me like, what's wrong with you, brother? I'm an Orioles fan, Buck, so I can't like you guys, but I respect the heck out of you and the organization. You and the organization done a lot of winning, man. I can't hate on that.
No, you can't. And I thought you were going to say you're a Red Sox fan.
Oh, no, then the interview would have ended.
That would have been even worse.
The interview.
I got my man over here with the Yankee hat on, and he's looking good. He said he saw the old timers game.
I did.
Oh, yeah, he was talking about
40 years, 70-17. Next year's 40 years of the big one. It's flying.
I never miss old timers day because me and my dad will text back and forth about all the guys. He'll tell me about your era and the era before that, so it's awesome. It's an awesome day for me and my dad.
That's great. I mean, it's a special day. Bring all the guys back. The Yankees do it right, and it's a great weekend. Friday, have a cocktail party. Saturday, we go to the game, and then Sunday's our game, and we had beautiful weather, and it's always great to see those guys that you played with.
I bet.
40
I
years
bet.
ago,
Plus, you can laugh at them sometimes.
Oh, you can laugh
as you
a
were
lot.
telling me.
Mickey Rivers, Randolph, Sparky Lyle. I mean, when you get those guys in a room, the stories get bigger, the home runs go farther. I mean, everything becomes magnified.
And you are a Yankee through and through. You manage them as well. You've got 2 rings on. You've got a Yankee watch on. So you're a Yankee through and through. The first thing everybody wants to ask you about. The 1978 home run. Is that, when someone meets you, what percentage of people that just meet you as fans, is that the first thing they say to you?
If they first met me and they're a Red Sox fan, they'll go, "You broke my heart. You ruined my life." And then if it's a Yankee fan, they'll say, "Oh, it was the greatest moment, and I remember where I was at."
Yeah.
And I love hearing the stories. I never get tired of that because that game was special. It was a big game. Red Sox Yankees. It's a classic, and you don't ever forget it.
No, it is. And you were in Red Sox and Yankee lore both. And in Boston, you'll forever be Bucky Bleepin' Dent. There's something cool about that, right? That whole town has to cuss. They've inserted a cuss word as your middle name. That's respect, I think.
That is. And I was telling a story. Somebody told me that when they went on tour of the Red Sox, they said, we used to call the little things on the wall when they used to hit, we used to call them dents. We don't call them that anymore. We call them dings.
I love that. They're not dents in the wall. That's beautiful, man. That really is.
Not only the big home run in '78, but World Series MVP as well.
Well,
you may not remember that.
A lot of
the
people
MVP
forget that. They forget that I was a World Series MVP. It gets overshadowed by the home run.
No, you're right.
Which is fine because that game, it was a classic. I watch it on TV now every now and then. I'll put it in, and I get sweaty palms, and I know what's going to happen.
I mean, that's awesome. I mean, that is, if you don't win that, that tiebreaker, you're not. There's no postseason. There's no World Series. There's no ALCS. That obviously was huge. You guys were down at the time.
Yes.
Right.
Well, yeah, we were. We came from 14 games back, and then
absolutely.
We had a big series. We swept them in Boston. They call it the Boston Massacre, and then we went in for this 1-game playoff. It was like a spectacular day. It seemed like the whole world had stopped because it was a Jewish holiday and everybody's watching a game.
Yeah.
And that game people talk about. I mean, it was just an amazing game. I mean, it was the most pressure game that I'd ever been in my career.
What your thoughts on working for the late George Steinbrenner? Because people have different sort of stories. Yeah, they'll have some stories you managed there too. Well, I know you got some stories there.
Well, I got a lot of stories. I can't talk to them on the
radio. Is it with George? It might feel like you have this type of memories where they're great. They might be funny stories. There's probably stories where you're like, that son of a gun. What's your memories of being there playing and managing for George?
You know what? It's just he was a great owner. And he brought the Yankees back to where they are, and with the free agency, and he was a really special guy. He was a tough guy. You knew the ground rules when you came there, what it was all about. I played for him, I coached for him in the minor leagues, managed for him, and then I managed for him in the big leagues. And I'll say nothing ever bad about him because he was very loyal to his players. He was a tough guy. Everybody knew that. A tough owner. But he was all Yankee. He wanted you to do it the right way.
Reggie Jackson, what was he like as a teammate? We all know about him in the postseason, Mr. October, and just how far the ball would go when he hit it. What was Reggie Jackson like in the clubhouse?
Reggie was a big game player. He was Mr. October. They nicknamed him Mr. October, and Reggie and I got along fine. We came over there at the same time, but he happened to go to spring training and I didn't. I got traded the last day of spring, so. But he was a good teammate. I mean, he had his moments, like in '77 with all the stuff that was going on. This straw that stirred the drink with Munson, and of course '77 was a tough year because of Son of Sam and everything. But we wound up winning. Whatever happened off the field never affected those guys on the field. When they went out to play, they went out to beat you. We had some great players. Catfish Hunter, Thurman Munson. Reggie, Pinella, Rivers, Gossage. Chambliss. We had guys that were just big time players.
And now you know why I can't stand you as an Orioles fan. It's
That's
sheer
right.
jealousy.
Yeah.
It's sheer. If you couldn't name off that many good players, I'd have no issue with the Yankees.
I tell you what, when I was playing in the '70s, the Baltimore Orioles were the team that really kind of scared us the most because they had pitching, and they always made a run in September because of their pitching and their defense, and they had some great players too.
They did.
Brooks Robinson, first guy. I remember when I was a rookie and one of the first games I started, he hit a double off the wall and he gets to second base and he looks at me and goes, "Hey, Rook, how you doing?" And I was like, "Oh my God, Brooks Robinson just said hello to
me." What's up, Bum?
Reading here, after you were traded by the Yankees, you rented your New Jersey home to one of my all-time favorites, Don Popeye Zimmer.
Yes, I did.
How was he as a tenant? Did he pay his rent on time?
He was funny because I had just remodeled my house, and Don Zimmer calls me and he says, "Hey, Bucky, I got traded to Texas, so he says, I'd like to rent your house." I go, "Zim, I got white carpet, man. I can't have you spitting tobacco all over my carpet." And I said, and we started laughing, and I said, "Okay." Well, when I left and went to spring training, what happened was I took the picture from the home run that said "Sox dented," and I put it behind every door. So every time he'd open a door, he would get, reminded, Sox did it, So I talked to him during the summer that year, and he goes, "Oh, by the way, all those pictures, I turned them around backwards."
Oh, that's good stuff. What do you think, before we let you go, and I want you to talk about what you're here for. I know you're here with the Knights and stuff. What do you think of this year's Yankees? My man Bone over there was loving life. He's been a little more frustrated the last couple of weeks. What do you think of this Yankee team? There's some young talent there.
There's some young talent, and Judge is the real deal. I saw him on Saturday and Sunday, and they got some great young talent. They're doing it right, and right now they're a little banged up. That's why he's frustrated, because they got a few injuries that have kind of brought them back to the pack a little bit. But if they get healthy again, and I believe they need another starting pitcher. If they get another starting pitcher, they're going to have a chance to make a big run at the end.
My Orioles need like another 3 starting pitchers, and then we can make a run.
Yeah,
Buck, you would hit 400 right now off this Orioles staff for a season. I'm telling you right now, because you look good. If I look that good, man,
well, thank
at
you
your
very
age.
much. But the Orioles have always been a great organization. A very good organization, and but the Yankees, they got some great young talent, and I'm looking forward to seeing them, make a run at it.
They're in good shape. Red Sox have some good young talent too. All right, you're here with the Knights. What do you guys got going on?
Well, we're here. I'm going to throw out the first ball tonight. I'm going to be signing some autographs at the stadium. We're actually going to go to a hospital and visit some patients, pass out some blankets. My late wife, we started a foundation called Embrace with Love, and it's always fun to go and see people, and that's what she wanted to do, was wrap them up with a little bit of love, and but I'm looking forward to tonight. I haven't seen this new stadium, and
it's awesome.
It's awesome,
Yeah.
and I came up in the White Sox organization, and I've heard so much about it, so I'm looking forward to seeing all the fans tonight.
That view of the skyline, that stadium's special. That's a special spot. Before we wrap this up, I just want to tell you, if you go over there to the hospital, I know you're trying to do good, but you better find out if someone's sick as a Red Sox fan, because you could do some serious damage to someone if they see Bucky Dent, they're ailing, and they see you walk in. Like, that could be traumatic, Buck.
No, I cheer them up.
You do? Okay. All right. I'm going to trust you. I just don't want anything bad happening over there. Bucky, it was a pleasure talking to you, man. Thanks so much for stopping by.
You guys, thanks for having me on.
All right, there you go. Bucky Dent, everybody. Bucky Bleeping Dent, everybody. All right, when we come back, or tonight, make sure you hit it up. If you're going to the game, or if you want to make plans now, go to the game, get Bucky's autograph, stop by, say hello. And if you haven't checked out the Knight Stadium, I don't know what you're waiting for if you live here. That's something that has to be done. All right, when we come back, we've got Mike Florio coming up 9:30, as usual, Wednesday spot to go around the NFL. The Supreme Court taking on the sports gambling case. Anybody like me think legalized sports gambling would be absolutely amazing.